All right, well, that's a wrap. Y'all have a good night for October 17th. I'll be setting this up shortly, so hope you enjoyed it. Got some Halloween decorations. Talked to Linda. We were reviewing the arrest that went on that night off of Kelly Street in Frankfurt. I don't think the officers followed complete protocol if she had bruises on her. 3 officers should not even really be talking to her, regardless of the charges, whatever they were, public intoxication, which they drew no blood or had no breathalyzer. So there is going to be a change in restructuring police officers' behaviors and the way they think. That's going to be happening in the next probably decade. And many officers are going to lose their right to carry arms, meaning police officers are going to lose their right to carry a lethal weapon. That's going to happen as well. The state trooper that was involved in the arrest of Linda is named Officer Bell. He's a state trooper. He's a police officer at heart. He has no special rights over any other police officer. Any beat cop has the same right when it comes to arrest that a state trooper would have. The only person that has any special privileges and authority figures is a game warden who can go into your car and look for possible game than when you were hunting. Other than that, there's search and seizures, there's all kinds of things that you can use against them. And a state trooper has no special power when it comes to arrest than a regular police officer does. And he was a state trooper, Officer Bell, but he's probably going to either do some time or lose his badge for what he did to Linda, because she had bruises all over her body when I picked her up at Denton County Jail. So State Trooper Officer, or State Trooper Bell is his name. And he's a Dallas, I believe, no, Denton. He's a Denton State Trooper coming out. He was involved in Linda's arrest, which she had bruises on her back. She had a bruise right here. And supposedly there was a female officer at the booking center, but not at the actual part of the arrest. A fan of the show. So anyway, so we need to check ourselves there, okay? Because I happen to know Linda. Now remember, when you think, there's been, let me tell you about people that are in between places and stuff. There is a bank robber that got busted by a homeless guy. And he saw something that the person did. He put down this little uniform or whatever that he was wearing, because he had everyone show up at this bank, and he had everyone dressed like a certain way, like they're all dressed like these construction workers. And this homeless guy that was sitting in an alley saw him take one of the construction outfits out and place it somewhere, and that's how he got busted. Listen, you can get busted by anyone. Linda looked like a helpless person that was just kind of walking around a Valero off of Kelly Street. You thought you could take advantage of her? No telling what really happened. She's claiming nothing really happened, but I saw the bruises. And I want this investigated. And I'm sending this show up. Following up on Linda's arrest is probably one of the things I'm going to put included on this show. So remember, any officer out there, when you arrest somebody, in most cases, if you're putting handcuffs on somebody that's not Osama bin Laden or that's completely dangerous nowadays, you're probably not following protocol, because I don't see any de-escalation going on at all in Linda's arrest. There was no de-escalation at all. And there were bruises on her, and she was dragged into solitary confinement for probably being a little bit tipsy, because I know her well. So you abused your power, is what you did. And somebody found out about it. State Trooper Bell probably thought he was doing the right thing. And you know what? He probably thought he was. But when I got picked up on a charge in Long Beach for false charity, the officer told me a lot of people don't think they're doing the wrong thing. They think they're doing the right thing. Because I was working for a company out in Los Angeles. I was working for a company called the Police and Sheriff Support Fund, and I thought it was a legit company. And it actually was, because their arrest was somewhat false as well. Because I told the officer at the time, I said, I can take checks. I can take a check, but I cannot take cash. And because I took cash, legally, they had the right to put handcuffs on me, and I spent time, like, I think 17 hours in jail, and I was released pretty much the next day and had to pay a $200 fine all over false charity, if there is such thing as false charity. It was basically, it was for telemarketing out in Long Beach. I was a telemarketer. And he had called me because I had made these pamphlets. I was working for this company. I'd made these pamphlets, and it basically said that you could put your business card in this magazine. And I brought the magazine to the trial and everything. So I thought it was legit, and actually was operating. It was actually a company that was operating out of Los Angeles. It was really operating. The guy really paid annuals. He just had a special, some kind of business certification that allowed him to take cash, but none of his other employees could take cash. It was all over me taking cash in Long Beach. Regardless, that was in my past. But this thing that happened to her, I think, was an abuse of power. And anybody that knows State Trooper Bell, please pray for him, because he's going to go through a whole lot over this, because I found out his name. I don't know his badge number, but that information can be found. I did report him to another filmmaker that's out in New York that works with Netflix. So, State Trooper Officer Bell, I hope that you follow protocol. If you did, you have nothing to worry about. But if you did not follow protocol, and you abused your power, I turn in your badge now and get out while you're ahead. I turn in your badge and your sidearm, your lethal sidearm. I turn it in tomorrow while you can get out ahead. You don't have to, but I'm sending this up to the public because I know her. I don't think what you did was right. And I think there is abuse of power going on today, and I think it has problems. I think there's problems with the police department. I think it's going on right now. I think there's major problems with the police departments all over everywhere. In every city. There's problems with police officers abusing the power every single day. And if you're a police officer and you're watching this, please de-escalate. De-escalate at all times. If you can. De-escalate. Even when it comes to a PI. It doesn't mean that people can walk around drunk, but let me tell you something. You go to Mardi Gras, you go out to Austin city limits, everybody is drunk. And they don't arrest anybody. And you go to a Valero in Kelly Street in the middle of the night. Listen, a State Trooper, Officer Bell, we know that you walked up to Linda when she was at McAllister's days before, and we know that you got her information on what kind of car she had because her car was at McAllister's sandwich shop. We know. Because she revealed her car, which was a Mazda 3, and you knew what kind of car she was driving. And if you do face trial for this, and you get put up on the stand, they're going to ask you, did you know that lady that you talked to beforehand that was drunk at McAllister and was asked to leave McAllister sandwich shop, did you know that was the same lady that was in the Mazda 3 car? That means you pursued that car for the arrest, and you made the arrest knowing that it was probably the same person, and you arrested her, but she had bruises all over her. Okay? Well, I don't know. When you put handcuffs on somebody, that's something that you have to deal with. But you know what? Ultimately, it's not what I say. It's not what I say that matters. Ultimately, what happens in the long run, it's what Linda says that matters. Remember that, State Trooper Bell. It's what Linda says. It's not what I say. Y'all have a good night. Big thumbs up. It's funny because I did a whole vlog about the donut operator. Next thing you know, now I'm involved with a friend of mine getting arrested. All right. Y'all have a good night. I'm at Buc-ee's. I'm going to be setting this up tonight. And also another thing too is when it comes to those officers, I care deeply for Linda. I care very deeply. And you don't know the level of our relationship. But the apology should be directed not only, of course, to anyone that you go out there and put handcuffs on for legal reasons like a public intoxication where you don't even know the level of the intoxication. But regardless, the apology, you should also apologize to me because you hurt someone that I care for dearly. You should apologize, even if you say it out loud. Being respectful to other people is the most important thing. You're supposed to be an agent of peace, and you're not creating peace in other people's lives. I've had officers knock on my door through both of my marriages. Every single marriage that I've ever had in my life, police officers have been involved in. And not one of them ever has apologized. Not even Elm Patterson, when he approached me in Grand Prairie to tell me that I'll arrest you for criminal mischief if you go out and seek your family. Never once did I ever hear an apology from him that night, or from the department of Grand Prairie, from the police department of Grand Prairie. None of them, no apology or anything. It's just routine. It's the one thing that they always say: we're just trying to do our job. That's the one thing the police officer needs to stop saying. What he needs to do is the police officer needs to pick up a Bible and read the Bible, especially the New Testament. And after they're done reading, they can turn in their badge and their sidearm, and then they can seek peace. That's what they need to do. Y'all have a good night. Found the officer. It's Bell L 15339 is the badge number, and he's District D. On the state trooper Bell L, he's District 1. So it's on her arrest ticket. Also on state trooper Bell, it's area 10. Now, here is what Linda told me. He lost his temper in the county jail. Told her, I am not an officer, I'm a state trooper. Grabbed her, drug her to solitary confinement. I saw the bruises. There was drag marks on the side of her body. She was bruised up pretty bad, man. Pretty bad. You need to get help. Officer Bell, State Trooper Bell, get help. Get help for your anger, please. You are no longer a police officer. Not in my book, okay? This is going to be investigated. You are under investigation for possible abuse against Linda, okay? I'm not mentioning her full name on this page, on this, on this channel. But you know what you did, okay? This is real stuff. So you are, I already gave the badge number, I already gave your name, okay? So this counts for something. This is all I can really do, because I'm not the one behind it, so I wasn't really there. She can go and file further complaints. You better pray she doesn't. That goes for anybody that you rough up in Denton County Jail. But if you do it again and this gets caught, and then it goes back to you, Officer Bell L of Denton County, which is supposedly your state trooper, didn't say that on the ticket, but I'm looking at the ticket right now, so I'm investigating everything right now. The arrest was made off Kelly Street in Frankfort at a Valero on October. I want to say the arrest was made by State Trooper Bell between Kelly and Frankfort at a Valero on October 1st, 2021 at 10:02 p.m. And he's in District D. I gave his badge number already. His name, State Trooper Officer Bell L, made the arrest at 10:02 p.m. So anyway, she shouldn't have had that many bruises. I'm sorry. I don't know what went on, but she shouldn't have been covered in bruises, especially with her legs. Her legs were bruised. Her back had a huge bruise in it, about the size of like a foot. It was or even like a fist. Like she was punched in the back or thrown down. There looks like there was drag marks on the side. All that's going to be witnessed. Any kind of thing that you do to another person, it's going to be witnessed. It's going to count against you. So anyway, this is not going to be good for you. So watch out who you arrest. Be very, very careful. All right, I'm setting this one up. Y'all have a good night.